Q&A vlog time. Continuing off the Facebook questions. A question from Marson. Should we count macros and calories from veggies, so from vegetables? The answer is definitely. Definitely count the macronutrients, micronutrients, and the calories from vegetables. Simple rule of thumb, plug it into MyFitnessPal, plug it into whatever application, whether on the computer or on your mobile device that you use to track your calories and macros. Just plug it in and let it do the work for you. So yes, vegetables do have calories, they do have fiber, they have micronutrients, and let your app track them for you. Quick shout out to Nick. Corey wants to know, should one monitor daily water intake on their refeed or carb up days? I guess generally he just wants to know about water intake on refeed and carb up days, and generally yes, when you intake more carbohydrates, your body's going to require more water. One, to store the carbohydrate, and also to digest. And yes, you will need more water intake on your refeed and carb up days. How much? Probably in proportion to how much more carbs you're getting in than normal. But I don't know the exact nitty-gritty science, but definitely try to be conscious and get more water intake, guys, when you know you're going to be getting more carbohydrates in, especially with the carbohydrates, since a lot of water is required to store carbohydrate, more so than, say, fat, for example. So next, Harris wants to know, he has an IIFYM question, and he asks, if you're hitting your macros with 25 grams of fiber or over per day and hitting 2 or more vegetables, 2 or more fruits a day, do you have to worry about your sugar intake? And he's asking in reference to like Nature Oats and honey bars, other sources. Basically, does he have to worry about insulin or sugars if his macros are in check? And the simple answer is only if you have a medical condition that requires you to do so. So perhaps you have diabetes, or you have a high risk, or you straight up have cancer, or whatever it may be. If you have a medical condition that requires you to be tracking your sugar intake, or perhaps just minimizing it, then yeah, you will want to do so. You will want to minimize your simple sugar intake. Like I said, only if your medical condition requires you to do so. Otherwise, for a generally healthy person with no known medical conditions, or anyways, yeah, you don't really have to worry about your sugar intake. Granted, you're getting in a good amount of fiber, which may be anywhere between 10-15 grams of fiber per 1,000 calorie intake, perhaps even more for some people. You're getting in multiple servings of vegetables. You're getting a high variety diet, just tons of variety in your diet. You're getting in some fruits. You're getting in a good mix of micronutrients, your vitamins and minerals. You don't really have to worry about sugar intake then, but only once that's taken care of. Only once you've taken care of the fiber, or assuming that you will be taking care of your fiber throughout the day, your macros throughout the day, then does the sugar intake become a non-issue, simply because you've already taken care of the essentials, the fiber, and the micronutrients that your body needs for its daily functions, all the various things that vitamins and minerals are necessary for. So yeah, that's that, and I hope that makes sense. Dear Matt, I would love to hear you discuss your pledging and your time in your fraternity, perhaps even your overall thoughts on Greek life. An educated Greek bodybuilder is a rare thing, and you certainly are at the pinnacle of the demographic. Well, first and foremost, I'd just like to say I am not currently in college. I did withdraw to take my company as a full-time venture, as well as the YouTube thing. But yes, I am in a fraternity. I did pledge, and so and so. And generally, you won't really find fraternity members, sorority members actually get in depth about any sort of pledge process. It's kind of against the rules, so to speak. But in general, my pledge process, along with all pledge processes, involve basically bonding with your brothers or sisters, depending on your gender. A lot of leadership and group activities, leadership creating, bonding, really, in some ways, discovering yourself. At least that's what happened with me. Pushing one's limits. And what I can say is my process was not one of, okay, let's see how much we can drink tonight, that sort of thing. And that's a stereotype with fraternities, that it's all about drinking alcohol and so on. Mine was nothing like that, and I could say that for sure. So, some of my thoughts on Greek life may not be for everyone. Not everyone needs or may want to join a fraternity. It can be very, very fun, enjoyable. Maybe some people might find it hard to open up to other people or to make friends, out of the blue, just talk to random strangers. And fraternities, sororities, they can really help people kind of be forced to meet other people. And yeah, some fraternities, not really mine, you don't really actually have to pay to be in mine. A lot of fraternities do have pretty big dues, and some people see that as a bad thing, like, oh, you're paying for friends. But then again, what do you do with friends, right? You go out places and you end up spending money and so on and so on. And so that kind of negates that whole thing. But I definitely do think that fraternities can be very, very helpful, very worth it to college students, as long as that college student knows their priorities and doesn't let, say, the Greek life or their, the fraternity or sorority get in the way of their college goals. As long as they stick to who they are and not let, a fraternity or sorority change them in any negative sort of ways. So, you might have one person who's totally A+ student, going to graduate in a year or two, joins fraternity, and then next, all he does is party all day. Well, it's not necessarily the fraternity's fault. An individual allows that to happen, and you can't really blame the fraternity or sorority on that sort of thing. So my advice is to always remember what you're going to college for, even as you're pledging your fraternity or sorority. So remember what you're there for. Next question is from Kelvin, and all he asks is macros and how much. That's it. So that's a tough question, and I'm creating a website that will definitely help with that. So look forward to it, legendsofesthetics.com. Let me look around a little bit. I'm looking at this questionnaire I made on August 29th, so some of these are old, but they still should be good. Okay, guys? And you're about to watch some calf footage, and I've been working a lot on my calves, so hopefully you might notice some gains. Who knows? Let me look around. Favorite isolation workout? Isolation. What's my favorite isolation exercise? Oh, man, I really I like all of the isolation exercises. That's my thing. Like, I have such a hard time choosing my favorite exercises because I seriously love them all. Like, I love everything. Like, everything. It's really hard for me to decide the exercise that I don't like, besides the ones that, like, injure me. Those are the ones that I don't like. Okay, Jared, he wants to know the best way to initiate reverse dieting. Proper duration during high-intensity interval training to initiate the epoch effect. Okay, let me look around here. So the best way to initiate reverse dieting, assuming you just came off of a contest prep, you got really lean and so on. I wouldn't really say there's a best way, but one way that I think could be good for most people is to gradually lower the cardio intake by perhaps starting off with slashing it in half. And it really depends on how much a person is doing, So perhaps slashing that cardio in half. So let's say someone's doing 2 high intensity sessions and 4 low intensity sessions per week. So he's a total doing 6. You'd most likely see that person, most coaches would probably take it down to 2 high intensities per week and 1 low intensity, or 1 high intensity, 2 low intensities, assuming those low intensity sessions are at 400 calories or 500 perhaps. You'd see them take it down to that. And in terms of the high intensity sessions, we're generally assuming that that they're, I guess, Lyle McDonald stubborn fat loss protocol style, which generally goes like this, a 5 or 10 minute warm up, and you're counting all these calories, by the way, when you're doing this warm up, so it contributes to the overall warm up or the overall calories burned. And then 10 rounds of high intensity interval sessions, 15 seconds on, 45 seconds off, and then followed by 10 to 20 minutes of low intensity steady state cardio. Most likely you end up with 400 calories burned. And I noticed a lot of coaches prescribe this to clients, and that's also basically what the Lyle McDonald stubborn fat loss protocol 2.0. That's pretty much what that is, and you generally see that with a lot of coached clients. They do that style of high intensity interval training, and overall it takes about 40 minutes. The 10 sessions take about 10 minutes, so it usually consists of like a 5-minute warm-up. You do the 10 rounds, and then you continue until you burn 400 or 500 calories, depending on what your goal may be for that session. And in the video right now, I'm kind of like just trying to work out my knee a little bit because I had that issue with my knee / behind the hamstring thing. I'm kind of getting to the end of this video, so I'm going to have to be very careful. Okay, Antonio wants to know what's the best way to gain or to make gains when you're in a sport that involves tons of cardio. And you simply have to be in a caloric deficit. It's as simple as that. So that's going to require you to perhaps track your caloric intake, or at least be knowledgeable or aware of the general caloric intake that that you're at. So whether it's on the dot, exactly 4,000 calories you're consuming while you're doing shitloads of soccer perhaps, and that's causing you to lose weight, you're going to want to increase that caloric intake, say to 4,100, 4,200, and hopefully that will put you in a maintenance calories or perhaps a caloric surplus for you in order to gain muscle, if that's also your goal, alongside all of the cardio in the sport that you're a part of. So it's all about tracking those calories and putting yourself in a caloric surplus or whatever, depending on your goal.
Do they even lift? Do they even lift? So I'm at the gym. My knee's kind of bothering me, kind of hurts a little bit. And something happens. I see a ton of people rushing towards the men's bathroom, and I'm looking over like, what the freak happened? Someone must have passed out. And there I'm witnessing for the first time ever a person having a seizure, like a serious one, just flailing all over the ground, head hitting the wall. It was scary as hell. Everyone was there was a lot of people around him, and people were saying, no, don't touch him, and so on, and calling 911. And it was kind of scary for the first time seeing that. And I had a quick reality check. I was like, geez, I mean, that I could have been dealt that same kind of hand, I could have had a condition where I have seizures all the time, or those could be my same circumstances. Kind of made me grateful and just thankful of the hand that I was dealt. My own health, as well as my own effort in preserving my health, and maybe realize, there's other people that don't have the same opportunities that I do in terms of the hand that they were dealt in regards to their health. And suddenly, my little issue with my knee, although it didn't go away, I was just like, dude, this is nothing. This is nothing. I could fix this. I'm just going to go home and look at some Kelly Starrett videos, and it's going to be totally fine. And you know, someone who has seizures all the time, that's not going away. That's something serious. So maybe thankful for good health, and also just at the same time, you know, that I'm grateful for the health, just, you know, genetics and hereditary kind of health. I'm also just glad that I take care of myself, you know. I don't do drugs, I don't put myself in crazy situations or circumstances where I'm gonna die, and those kind of things. And you know, I'm thankful that I just have good health. So really experience seeing that for the first time. I've never seen a seizure, so yeah. And at the same time, it was weird because I, you know, in one way I'm feeling kind of superhuman at the gym. I hit a I guess a squat PR of some sort, and I'm PRing on calves, hip thrusts, and all this stuff. And then seeing that kind of took me down a peg, kind of humbled me in a way. And for some reason, the quote, Plato, I believe, I think it goes like, "Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle," or something like that. And kind of made me just think more about not judging others. You don't really know what's going on, what lies underneath the surface in terms of health or who they are or anything. You know, I would have never known that person, the kind of person that had seizures and had a health condition or whatever, but there it happened. And for some reason I just I had this thought. I was like, damn, I need to stop being so hard on people that who I may not know that well, or maybe just stop judging people so harshly that say can't make it to the gym because I don't have any time or whatever, because everyone's fighting a rough battle. You don't really know what's going on in their life, and all you see is what you see, but you don't really know what's really going on. Kind of made me think.
Hey, quit being a little bitch! Ogus cake!